Faith in the middle of being tested will give you, God will give you the graces to go through it. And so if your faith is being tested right now, just understand that the more mental power you have to say, I trust in God to move mountains for me, and all I want to do is do your will. He will give you the graces to watch those mountains move. Today, as I'm sitting in the office, there's a guy that comes in to visit with us, an insurance salesman, who we quickly find out, one, we went to the same high school 13 years apart. He's 13 years younger than I am. And grew up around the same area. Then he has friends in the same area as I do outside of this hometown that we both grew up in. So a town that's 45 minutes away. We've got a lot of people we know. He in fact dated a girl to whom I know the dad well, and we had a good conversation about this particular girl and circumstances that she is currently going through. And it's a testimony of her dad. It's a testimony of his faith, because this girl that he dated when they were in high school ended up marrying a guy, having a few kids, and then unfortunately cheated on this guy with another guy. And while cheating on her husband, getting pregnant with the guy she was cheating with, and then ended up leaving her husband for this new guy to have a new baby. And the guy, the father of this girl, is a faith-filled man. His kids grew up in a household that was full of Jesus and faith and all this stuff. And so I heard this story already through the eyes of the father months ago. And so when I'm connecting with this guy today, who is a faith-filled young man, 13 years younger than me, I'm not going to tell you my age, 42. He's telling me what he knows to a certain degree, and I'm telling him essentially not everything that I know, other than just we both agree that us being fathers ourselves to little girls, that we're going to encounter different trials that seem just terrible. But the guy that we're referring to, that is the father of this young woman that is going through this, whole time not angry with God, continue his prayer life, definitely had some thoughts of negative thoughts and all this stuff, and a lot of close moments in there. Ultimately still learned how to get over himself and say, God, if this is the circumstances, I have to treat my daughter, this man, with enough respect that I can be around them, and please allow me the grace to forgive the circumstances. And so I watched it already, and it was a close moment to share with this new friend of mine, that no matter how bad it seems of the circumstances, which is a pretty bad circumstance, this father was still asking for God to help him shake off hatred that he had for this person. And to go a step further, the father, who is big time in our Cursillo movement, which is just, I'm related to a retreat, sponsored this young man to a Cursillo because the young man asked for it. He asked to go. And the guy, even though didn't want to do it, said yes. And so he experienced something with him that was spiritual in nature going through this weekend. Long story short, it only reaffirmed my testimony that I keep portraying out in these videos, is that God will make things work if you have faith and trust, and that it will be very chaotic at times, scary at times, fearful at times, but you just have to keep going in the midst of these struggles. Because what are you going to do? You can choose to live a life without faith and be depressed and miserable, or you can choose a life with faith, knowing that God will bring you through it and you will grow through it. And that the end of the day is not in these people's lives. The end of the day is not there. The child that is going to be born, in the midst of these circumstances, it's not the child's fault. And the child's going to be well loved by his grandparents and by his parents. But it is now a odd circumstance with blended parents type of deal. And not to mention the husband and kids of the original marriage are going through this odd set of circumstances. And as gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching these are, the father is trusting God along the way. The ex-husband, who I didn't even mention in the story, very spiritual guy, is trusting God. He's been actually somewhat sane of a mindset on this very tough thing he's going through as a young man. And now you have this new guy who him and her create this situation, participate in as just learning more about God in the spiritual sense of going to this retreat. And so it's, as chaotic as that is and strange to talk about, and I don't know if you followed me in it, it's strange. But God, his hand is moving continuously through it. So if you don't think God can work in your life, think of that story. That's a crazy story. I'm a testimony of watching it, explaining it, and the other guy that's receiving what I'm saying, who understands some of this stuff that he knows, it's a witness to him on the character of the father, first and foremost, of his ability to be handling this, trusting in God along the way. Not that the guy doesn't break down, not that the guy doesn't have an opinion, but he, in his testimony, this guy has really succumbed to God and whatever plan is going on. So if you're going through anything, if you're heading towards the fire, you're in the fire, you're getting out the fire, just appreciate that God is there with you and he loves you. He'll guide you on your way. And the more that you trust in him, even though it will get chaotic at times, he will be there to guide you through that storm.